heaven's embroidered claws. And so began my first days. As I consumed his every word, I stood among the greats. He pulled his thoughts together, massaged them with his words, created magic visions to give the soul reward. Yeats embraced us with his words, wrapped us all in green, fashioned Celtic visions from times no longer seen, laid his heart beneath our steps, softly and serene. Tread softly as we tread upon his dreams. I feasted on his poetry and reveled in his soul. He bared it throughout all the years, through youth and growing old. And though he loved and lost and loved, his poetry did flow. He never lost the turn of phrase, nor was afraid to show. Yeats embraced us with his words, wrapped us all in green, fashioned Celtic visions from times no longer seen, laid his heart beneath our steps, softly and serene. Tread softly as we tread upon his dreams. He was our inspiration. We hung on every thought. They opened up our minds and eased our every fraught. He became the state's expression, the voice that we all craved. In civil war we lost our soul for him to have it saved. Yeats embraced us with his words, wrapped us all in green, fashioned Celtic visions from times no longer seen, laid his heart beneath our steps, softly and serene. Tread softly as we tread upon his dreams. But I, Leopold, have only our dreams. But I, being poor, have only my dreams.
Draw from his struggles, learn if you can. The country's greatest author, his greatest work was banned. His words were too explicit, they ruled his work obscene. Engaged in mighty struggles, just to have it seen. James Joyce, a man of precious words. James Joyce, their rulings were absurd. James Joyce, the Odyssey redeemed. James Joyce, his Dublin was obscene. Ulysses was ready, but its biggest markets balked. America and England, Pumalicious just walked away from being the printer that brought his writings in. Descriptions that were sexual were possibly a sin. James Joyce, a man of precious words. Dublin was obscene. Continual rejection plagued his every move. For 14 years he fought it, then finally approved. By then his health a shambles, his eyesight in decline, had gone through many surgeries that left him almost blind. James Joyce, a man of precious words. James Joyce, their rulings were absurd. James Joyce, the Odyssey redeemed. James Joyce, his Dublin was obscene. He died almost a pauper, on foreign soil no less. Ireland's shameful government did little to redress. It was only in the later years, with his brilliance recognized, he became an Irish author, a hero that we prized. James Joyce, a man of precious words. James Joyce, their rulings were absurd. James Joyce, the Odyssey redeemed. James Joyce, a Dublin too obscene.
Peig was just a young girl living in Dublin, raised in abject poverty. Her time had long since been. She moved out to the islands in 1892. There she raised a family as best as she could do. Although Irish speaking, she couldn't read or write, was known throughout the region for the stories in her mind. She was an Irish Cherokee, a storyteller old. They clung to every memory and every detail told. Ní lay of Noshri of Aki, this Irish Cherokee, but from her mind came stories needing to be told. Ní lay of Noshri of Aki, yet this Irish Cherokee laid out her life story in details to behold. Her life became an Irish book, used in all the schools, teaching Munster Irish from the comfort of her stool. She spoke of those she loved and lost, the pain and misery. We followed in her every word, her oral history. Ní lay of Noshri of Aki, this Irish Cherokee, but from her mind came stories needing to be told. Ní lay of Noshri of Aki, yet this Irish Cherokee laid out her life story in details to behold. Before she left us, she'd gone completely blind. She just replayed all the stories from the corners of her mind. Growing up, I found her in the pages of her book. I could see the little cottage and her shawl upon the hook, just left hanging on the hook. Ní lay of Noshri of Aki, this Irish Cherokee, but from her mind came stories needing to be told. Ní lay of Noshri of Aki, yet this Irish Cherokee laid out her life story in details to behold. He was an Irish rebel,
He left the IRA, arrested there in England, and there was hell to pay. He wrote about his time there and softened all his views. So back in County Kerry, he turned his thoughts to booze. The Borstal boy was drunk again, lying on the ground. Had drank him to a standstill, in the morning he was found. Beara was a writer, lost in the absurd, just right until pubs open, compromised his word. The books were quite inspiring, the plays were better still. He felt the pulse of Ireland and showed it there until the liquor overcame him, and all he did was drink. Stopped being an author, allowed his health to sink. The Borstal boy was drunk again, lying on the ground. Had drank into a standstill, in the morning he was found. Beara was a writer, lost in the absurd, just right until pubs open, compromised his words. The books were quite inspiring, the plays were better still. He felt the pulse of Ireland and showed it there until the liquor overcame him, and all he did was drink. Stopped being an author, allowed his health to sink. The Borstal boy was drunk again, lying on the ground. Had drank into a standstill, in the morning he was found. Beara was a writer, lost in the absurd, just right until pubs open, compromised his words. His drinking had no limit, as long as he had bread. And one day at the harbor lights, he drank himself to death. They buried him in colors, and Dublin lost its joy. The streets were lined eyed and crying for the dearest Borstal boy. The Borstal boy was drunk again, lying on the ground.
I was in school reading up the stony grey soil. His words wove a picture of a mud-stained young man's toil, to rise above the greyness and the dark and dismal place, to find a path to heaven and a smile upon his face. I lost myself inside his words, the vision seemed so real, how this young man slowly strangled with the wet and muddy field. He wrote about a place in time, and the people that he knew never left you feeling it was anything but true. Everything he wrote about seemed so commonplace, it felt distinctly Irish, like Kavanagh's embrace. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I found again in later years his mother in wet clay. His poem played out inside my mind, consumed my thoughts that day. I lost mine as he did his, found solace through his sight. He told me to ignore her death and see her full of life. He wrote about a place in time, and the people that he knew never left you feeling it was anything but true. Everything he wrote about seemed so commonplace, it felt distinctly Irish, like Kavanagh's embrace. He wrote about a place in time, and the people that he knew never left you feeling it was anything but true. Everything he wrote about seemed so commonplace, it felt distinctly Irish, had Kavanagh's embrace. I found again in later years his mother in wet clay. It felt distinctly Irish, had Kavanagh's embrace. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There are times in life we need to look up at the stars. We use the words of others to rise above the bars. but other times be grounded firmly on the peak. Kavanagh reminds us of the mud upon our feet. He wrote about a place in time and the people that he knew, never left you feeling it was anything but true. Everything he wrote about seemed so commonplace. It felt distinctly Irish at Kavanagh's embrace. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Kavanagh's embrace. Ooh, ooh, ooh. At Kavanagh's embrace. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There are times in life we need to look up at the stars. We use the words of others to rise above the bars, but other times be grounded firmly on the peak. Kavanagh reminds us of the mud upon our feet. He wrote about a place in time and the people that he knew, never left you feeling it was anything but true.
Though fame came in his death, Peig was so much more. A writer and a poet, renowned beyond these shores. We think of him a hero, and that he truly was. But within his words hid a soul that went beyond the cause. Misha era, Shinamena, Uncle your Beara, more than the Hag of Beara. Misha era, Windy made now, Uncle your Beara, lonelier than the Hag of Beara. We look into the words he wrote and see his Irish pride, the careful use of allegory as a means to hide his criticism of the foreign power that plagued the Irish shores. Took pride in ancient history, expounded more mud lore. Misha era, should've made now, Uncle your Beara, more than the Hag of Beara. Misha era, windy made now, Uncle your Beara, lonelier than the Hag of Beara. But in his Munster Irish, he felt it was more true, so he used it as his paintbrush and sought to show anew how fake the Irish voice was that claimed their Inga brow, yet gave away his country, expressed in more Manal. Misha era, should've made now, Uncle your Beara, more than the Hag of Beara. Misha era, windy made now, Uncle your Beara, lonelier than the Hag of Beara. Misha era.
Dorian loved the painting, showed him in his prime, but he worried of the changes that would happen over time. He made a deal with Satan and traded off his soul. He would have had eternal youth with the picture growing old. Oscar Wilde was Irish, made no apology, known for his love interests, which were truly plain to see. Some could handle neither, sought to twist his fate, poison minds of others, and showed their very hate. The dark clouds over London became darker still. Oscar sent to prison with a stroke of the quill. 2 years of hard labor for simply being gay. He emerged a broken man, his health left in dismay. Oscar Wilde was Irish, made no apology, known for his love interests, which were truly plain to see. Some could handle neither, sought to twist his fate, poison minds of others, and showed their very hate. words beyond debate, while they became his painting, twisted with their hate. He may have died a pauper, the richness that he wrote, ideas and expressions forever ours to quote. Oscar Wilde was Irish, made no apology, known for his love interests, which were truly plain to see. Some could handle neither, sought to twist his fate, poison minds of others, and showed their very hate.
It was 1897 when finally it sprung, though for the year before it left unfinished on his tongue. The Gothic novel of an age remains throughout the years for those that travel in the night. It captures all their fears. The undead has arisen with finally a name. Dracula they call him, feeds on blood they claim. Stoker had found him, shadow-bound he lurks, never seen in daylight, only in the dark. Was it truly fiction, or had he lived the word? Was Brown the creator? The truth was so absurd, he terrorized its victims, to feast and then to bind. The author had misgivings in the shadows of his mind. The undead has arisen with finally a name. Dracula they call him, feeds on blood they claim. Stoker had found him, shadow-bound he lurks, never seen in daylight, only in the dark. Nosferatu took it in a film they made, and yet the widow won it back, as its makers had betrayed. The very man that wrote it, they stole it and they lied. They thought they'd cheat the Irishman, knowing he had died. And though he now was ashes, it was often said he still appeared at windows. The writer now undead, Stoker is undead. Ooh. The undead has arisen with finally a name. Dracula they call him, feeds on blood they claim. Stoker had found him, shadow-bound he lurks, never seen in daylight, only in the dark.
Started with commitments when I came across this man. Then it was the snapper, and finally the van. He tells us of an island throughout all his pages. Ordinary people in ordinary ages. When our lives are over and all is said and done, we likely won't have rescued or murdered anyone. Though we love our country and carry that with pride, we likely won't have saved it and in the process died. How does he do it, Jimmy? In the mirror as he looks, and if I know Terry, and tosses me a book. Read about his island, and maybe you will see he's Ireland's favorite author. I think we can agree. He's a writer of our time, and his stories say as much. Many of his characters find a way to touch. He's the living proof of living, conveyed in every written word. And the pen that he writes with is mightier than sword. How does he do it, Jimmy? In the mirror as he looks, and if I know Terry, and tosses me a book. Read about his island, and maybe you will see he's Ireland's favorite author. I think we can agree. We'll write about things that are happening, Wilson Pickett's words. Roddy follows the same path, avoiding the absurd. He finds a way to tell it, like Pickett's R&B. Creates a story of our time, and captures you and me. How does he do it, Jimmy? In the mirror as he looks, and if I know Terry, and tosses me a book. Read about his island, and maybe you will see he's Ireland's favorite author. I think we can agree.
They met by an empty tree and waited for good dawn. Neither man knew for sure whether he would show. Beckett wrote his masterpiece in 1948. It still runs on Broadway, so still the actors wait. The play is conversation and abstract imagery. The one prop of significance is just a simple tree. Their object never does appear, God-o is in their breath. But the critics say their waiting is perhaps a wait for death. Why were they waiting, letting life go by, exploring its futility? Was it perhaps a cry? Why were they waiting? Was God a friend? Beckett left it to ourselves at the very end. His life had more to offer than a play of such success, though generally it's thought of as perhaps the very best. He was a man of broader scope than simply words he wrote. His role in French resistance, an example of note. Why were they waiting, letting life go by, exploring its futility? Was it perhaps a cry? Why were they waiting? Was God a friend? Beckett left it to ourselves at the very end. Although the man was Irish, he chose to stay aloof and lived a life in Paris, he said, to find his groove. When he died in Paris, with loyalties unknown, Ireland simply claimed him as a product of his home. Why were they waiting, letting life go by, exploring its futility? Was it perhaps a cry? Why were they waiting? Was God a friend? Beckett left it to ourselves at the very end.
Her head bent towards my head, her breath in mine. Such beauty in a moment, such capturing of time. Time spent with his mother, while others were at mass. In his heart forever, and will never pass. I never met Seamus, though our paths most likely crossed. Yet meeting him within his words, experience the loss. I never met Seamus, a playwright and a poet. His words have traveled far. When Nobel recognized him, the man became a star. The British tried to claim him in a letter from the Queen, but they got a quick reminder that his passport, it was green. I never met Seamus, though our paths most likely crossed. Yet meeting him within his words, experience the loss. I never met Seamus. From a rural background, like Kavanagh before, he found an earthy image that added to the lore. His down-to-earth wording captured many minds and left us with an epitaph, just a single line. Walk on air against your better judgment. I never met Seamus, though our paths most I choked upon her words, and the world choked with me. We felt the cold and pain, and shared the misery. The great walk of death in the final hunger year led them from the workhouse and drove them ever near. He saw she couldn't keep up, so he carried her the way. And through the darkest of the hours, he felt her pass away. Even she imagined, shared it in a poem. Let us witness through her eyes how they died alone. Even was a poet, wrote of families, used the message in her words to help us cry our tears. He tried to keep her warm, but bitter was the cold. And as she died within embrace, he felt himself grow old. But he was only 40 years, and she a couple less, when finally in her arms he did also pass. Even she imagined, shared it in a poem. Let us witness through her eyes how they died alone. Even was a poet, wrote of families, used the message in her words to help us cry our tears. In the morning when they found them huddled off the road, they saw her feet upon his chest. He tried to stem the cold, but nobody did cry for them. There were none left to cry. Those that stopped and got to them were only passers-by. Even she imagined, shared it in a poem. Let us witness through her eyes how they died alone. Even was a poet, wrote of families, used the message in her words to help us cry our tears. Eventually their bodies were thrown upon a cart and dumped in a pauper's grave that had been dug in part. They landed on the others, but never fell apart. As earth was thrown upon them, they loved with all their heart. Even she imagined, shared it in a poem. Let us witness through her eyes how they died alone. Even was a poet, wrote of families, used the message in her words to help us cry our tears.